I am Mamadou Gajaga and this is QTV News coming to you live from our studios along Caraba Avenue, and thanks for joining us. Now to the main local business, international and sports news headlines. A businessman tells the TRRC how he had to bribe ex-President Jammeh for one of his projects and was later scammed by him. The National Youth Council on Wednesday began a two-day migration summit to discuss the effects of irregular migration. The National Association of Gambian Nurses and Midwives on Thursday held a celebration for International Nurses and Midwives Day, which fell during Ramadan. In business news, the Monetary Policy Committee (NPC) of the Central Bank of the Gambia met to review the performance, risk and outlook of the domestic economy for the first quarter of 2021. Unique Group, one of Gambia's most diverse and innovative business corporations, is celebrating its 21st anniversary. And in international news, the 2021 first ordinary session of the ECOWAS Parliament has opened in Abuja, Nigeria. In sports news, we hear how the scramble for points is hotting up in the GFF Second Division. Those were the main news headlines, and now the news in detail. Welcome and thank you if you're just joining us. This is QTV News. Mam Seth Njai, a businessman who in the First Republic initiated the construction of a flour factory in the Gambia and later a dairy farm, told the Truth Commission how Yahya Jammeh and his government scammed him despite his bribing the ex-president with plots of land to allow him to continue his business. Njai said he was arrested, falsely charged and sentenced to 9 years in prison for economic crimes. Babukar C has the details.
The witness began his testimony with his education background and later traveling to Norway in the 70s to complete his schooling, worked in Norway and coming back home to the Gambia in the 80s to open a cement factory. When they conducted a feasibility study and acquired land for the factory, they concluded that the country's cement requirements are too small for a factory to be built in the country. He eventually acquired leased land at Makumbaya to erect a flour tiling farm. According to the witness, the experience gathered from the factory was unbelievable as the Gambia became a renowned country for exporting flour tiles to Africa and beyond. According to him, when the July 1994 coup happened, the company's board of directors met in London to discuss the future of the company, and partners decided to sell their share, which he bought. Seth Njai said the trouble started when Yahya Jammeh took over the country, as Jammeh and his people wanted him to sell the company and equipment, which he refused, and they decided to frustrate him and his partners.
They
wait until midnight. At night they will go and pick them from there.
Sometimes they like Harleys.
Sometimes they even ask them money.
Why man try to convince them why they were frustrated.
But they were frustrated.
In the end they left. Because first contract it was for 3 years.
As if that was not enough, Mam Seth Njai ventured into another project, and this time a dairy farm with support from the Danish government. He wrote a letter asking for the change of the use of the land from cement to flour, which took him to Social Security as another government body he needed to deal with, and had a percentage share with them on the land demarcation. According to the witness, $470 million was budgeted for the project, including water and electricity in the area. The problem started when Yahya Jammeh called him for a meeting and asked to have a share in the project.
Obviously,
yes, obviously he asked what is there for him.
And what did you understand him to mean by that? Dafa describe dafa need about 300 plots.
That means that he needs about 300 plots. Ne manam dafa soxlo dem ñetti téméri pak fofu.
So footballers si demee be am ndam.
That when the footballers came with victory, there is something that he will give it to them.
The witness said Jammeh wanted 300 plots of land from the said area, and he could not say no for personal safety reasons. Living with that trauma and stress, the witness said Jammeh's government formed a land commission and, to his surprise, used the villagers who gave him the land to say the land was acquired illegally and that it should be returned to them. When the matter was taken to the court and they ruled against him, The witness said he appealed the case and won it back in 2018. Another summons accused him of refusing to pay capital gains tax, leading to him being arrested and taken to the police.
They
took me to court, just at the end they put me to remand.
For economic crime.
The witness said he was accused of economic crimes and remanded at the Mile 2 Central Prisons, and after all the evidence provided, the court sentenced him to 9 years in prison.
That sounds like gangsterism.
He's a pure gangster.
No,
he's more than a gangster.
To add insult to injury, the witness said he was transferred to the security wing, even though he was sentenced for an economic crime. Luckily for him, he was released after 6 months in prison. Babu Karsi, QTV News.
The National Youth Council on Wednesday began a 2-day migration summit to discuss the effects of irregular migration on the theme Effective Dialogue for Informal Discussions on Opportunities for Youth in the Gambia. More in this report by Ajibintu Drame.
Youth groups from across all regions of the country came together to discuss thematic areas in tackling the menace of irregular migration in the Gambia. Returnees and survivors of human trafficking shared their gruesome experiences and urged stronger and collective efforts in sensitizing the public, especially youth, from taking the so-called back way. Maimuna Jallo, a returnee and chairman of the Gambia Returnees from the Backway Association, once embarked on the dangerous journey seeking greener pastures to support his family.
I spent 2 good years in Libya. It's horrific. You go to work, you don't come back. You go into certain places, they will say, okay, there's humor, there's donkeys passing by. They will just come out from the neighborhoods and put pistols or guns on your head. Where is money? Sometimes they kidnap you, they go and lock you.
With the help of the IOM, Maimuna returned home and started a new life as a businessman and agriculturist.
We have achieved a 200 to 150 meters in Berending. There's a well-established poultry with a horticulture garden with dormitories.
Ami Job, the PRO of Network Against Human Trafficking and a survivor of human trafficking, also explains.
Since that day that he took the passport away from me, I didn't get to see the passport again until the time that I was coming back home. So I was locked in that room for 2 weeks.
Fortunately for Ami, after 7 months working as a domestic maid without pay, she got help from some Senegalese people and returned home. However, she says coming home was a challenge as she faced stigmatization and discrimination. Experiencing all forms of inhumane abuses such as being stripped naked, imprisoned and attacked, Usman Salah's journey to study abroad did not materialize after a failed promise landed him in Nigeria. Instead of coming home, he decided to take the back way from Nigeria to Libya. He is now a returnee.
The desert is another journey of its own, within this migration, because the number of lives that's, normally lost there are not accounted. Nobody knows the amount of people who lost their lives on the desert.
Holistic efforts such as reintegration packages, training, sensitizations have been implemented to address the problems of irregular migration. But the issue remains a challenge in the Gambia and globally. Usman Fati, the chairman of the National Youth Council, shares his thoughts on what he thinks are the underlying challenges forcing youths into irregular migration.
Believe in me, Gambians youth got talent. I don't know whether you know or not. They got the talent. All what they lack is the resources. So we are appealing to government to give more resources, particularly to the Ministry of Youth and Sports, because youths have, youths form the majority of the population.
Alhaji Kebe, youth ambassador at the Ministry of Youth and Sports, says youth need to think critically and take opportunities within the Gambia before embarking on the back way. Ajibintu Drame, QTV News.
We will now take a short commercial break, but still to come, we have some more local, business, international and sports news.
Your favorite mobile service has done it again. Now you can buy cash power with your QMoney account free of charge. Yes, you heard me right. For free. Nothing is cheaper than free. So start buying your cash power from the comfort of your homes with unbeatable services QMoney has to offer. With QMoney, life is easy. Visit your nearest Q-Money agent to cash in or call customer care on 133 for more information. Don't forget to wash your hands with soap after handling cash. Stay home, stay clean, stay safe. Q-Money, Sunyu Kalpe. We innovate, others follow.
Welcome back, and thank you very much if you're just joining us. This is QTV News. The National Association of Gambian Nurses and Midwives on Thursday celebrated International Nurses and Midwives Day. The day is celebrated globally on May 12th. Lamin Dabo has more on this story.
The event was celebrated with the themes A Voice to Lead, A Vision for Future Healthcare, and Follow Data, Invest in Midwives. Nurses are essential caretakers for a prosperous society. During this pandemic, their extraordinary contributions have proved their dedication and hard work towards nursing. The event celebrates the work of nurses and midwives in the country and globally. At the event, Mafuji Boyang, the registrar at the Nurses and Midwives Council, reminds the young nurses to always cherish their core values, no matter the numerous obstacles they face in the profession.
As a nurse, we all know we have some core values that we must uphold at all times. And for the Gambian Nurses and Midwives Council, we must also ensure that we obtain consent in giving care. And for personal information that are entrusted to us, because of our work, we have to ensure that those information are kept confidential. We work within a team, so we must operate within that team. No one person can do it all, so we have to work as a team.
The guest of honor, Dr. Thomas Senghor, during a presentation says the nursing and midwifery profession in the Gambia still faces challenges in trying to deliver quality healthcare services to the population.
And in some circumstances, what the persons that they so care for succumb finally to death. Sadly, many nurses work in tough and risky conditions without adequate protection and decent pay. In the Gambia, nurses form the backbone of our healthcare system. We are found across the continuum of healthcare systems as hospital managers, directors, administrators, unit heads, and also bedside nurses.
Yusuf Asanyang, the president of the National Association of Gambia Nurses and Midwives, explains the aims and objectives of the association.
The Nurses Association is committed to improving the quality of nursing services as well as the welfare of its members. We want every member, regardless of career or circumstances, to contribute immensely towards the improvement of the health system as well as take ownership of this association. Our mission is to actively contribute towards the improvement of nursing practice that will bring about improvement in healthcare for the Gambian population.
On behalf of the Minister of Health, Karamba Keita, the Chief Guest of Honor, commended the nurses and midwives for their tireless sacrifice and dedication to the nation. He calls on the young nurses and midwives to keep up the momentum as the Health Ministry is proud of them. Every year, we observe May 12 as International Nurses and Midwives Day, along with the birth anniversary of Florence Nightingale, regarded as the founder of modern nursing. For QTV News, Lamin Alaifan Nindawo.
The Medical Research Council Unit, the Gambia, at the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine, in collaboration with the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education, on Wednesday organized a climate change festival at the MRCG grounds in Fajara. Omar P. Jallo has the rest of that story.
The day-long festival focuses on climate change solutions and was developed in collaboration with schools from across the country, as well as NGOs and scientists. The target audience for the festivals are school children. The hope is that through this engagement, they will be able to stimulate their curiosity on climate change issues and involve them as part of local and global efforts to find effective solutions to the climate-related challenges around us. Speaking to QTV, Dr. Anna Bonnell, the principal investigator of the Climate Change Solutions Festival MRC Gambia, said the festival aims to discuss climate change solutions with a special focus on the climate change problems faced by the Gambia. This, in turn, will inform, inspire, and offer hope and guidance on how to live a plastic and carbon-free life. The focus will be on the need for immediate change in how we live on this planet through solutions devised by stakeholders and communities.
Children from today will be very severely affected from climate change in the coming years. But additionally to that, we can see globally that youth are a very powerful voice. And actually now the whole world is talking about climate change. And that is really driven mainly by this Fridays for Future, Greta Thunberg and the youth activists.
The Environment and Health Lead Planetary Health MRC Unit The Gambia, Associate Professor Chris Murray, said the motive behind the festival is to give them the opportunity to interact with the people that are going to inherit the climate change problems caused by previous generations. Adding that the research unit of MRC Gambia is trying to connect the health of people to the health of the planet, and climate change factors like pollution and deforestation being one of the biggest environmental problems, this activity is about translating and bringing that science to the public so they can effect the needed change. He also explained what needs necessary to avoid the worst consequences of climate change and what role different parts of society can play in the change to a lower carbon future.
A lot of the challenges that we've had with solving big environmental crises is that people have sort of, once you reach a certain point, you get sort of stagnated, and it's about entire generational shifts in thinking that is going to solve some of these problems.
Mamadou Inkeba, the founder of Community Action Platform on Environment and Development CAPE, said information sharing like this festival is the surest way to combat the effects of climate change and calls on people to venture into tree planting.
Myself, I have learned a lot. I was into mangrove plantation, but I've also seen Gambia Ozone Heroes who are also trying to collect a lot of trash from the ozones to help support biodiversity and help support those animals because they consume a lot of plastic and a lot of waste, which is not helping them.
Rugiatu Kamara, a participant and a student of Summer Senior Secondary School, said her impression and expectations.
My impression on this program is that I have learned many things and I have seen many things which I have never known before, and then now through being here I have seen many things and I have learned many things and how to control our climate and how to protect our climate, because as we know, climate change is a major impact in the Gambia itself, because as we know, deforestation in the rural areas, people are normally into the process of deforestation because they normally cut down trees without replacing them in order to use them for charcoal production, and that charcoal production, it is affecting our environment too.
Climate change has growing implications for every aspect of our society and lives, but due to the coronavirus, health impacts have received significant attention recently. Due to the effect of the changing climate on our environment, more people are speaking out about the emotional and physiological toll. However, raising awareness of the climate crisis can impact our mental health and what we can do about it. If we continue to pollute the atmosphere with greenhouse gases, the impact of climate change are projected to only increase with detrimental effects for people and nature. Strategies are clearly needed to mitigate and adapt to climate change, but the way we address this problem matters, considering the benefits and co-benefits of different types of policies that can help tackle climate change while simultaneously addressing some of our greatest health challenges, such as air pollution. Reporting for QTV News, I am Omar P. Jallo.
The National Human Rights Commission on Thursday launched its 5-year strategic plan, website and case management database research on sexual harassment, amongst other important documents. Ansumana Esonyasi reports.
Attended by senior government officials, UN representatives and human rights activists, Thursday's event also presented an opportunity for the Commission to share its activity for the year 2020. Emmanuel Daniel Diouf, the chairman of the Human Rights Commission, highlighted some of the work the Commission has been engaged in and went on to reveal that the formulation of guidelines, policies and standard operating procedures will guide and ensure that state institutions, including law enforcement, uphold human rights standards that are consistent with the rule of law and justice.
It has 6 strategic objectives which will help us achieve, we believe,
help us achieve our promotional and protection mandate. But quickly, just to run through them, in conclusion, it has six strategic objectives to promote and deepen a culture of human rights and fundamental freedoms.
On behalf of the Attorney General, Hussein Tomasi, the Solicitor General, says government remains committed to supporting the NHRC in its work, adding that developing and adapting tools and best practices from both national and international partners will optimize effectiveness in promoting and protecting fundamental human rights in the Gambia.
It's an opportune moment to commend the National Human Rights Commission for the good work it has embarked upon since its inception. Your Excellencies, honorable members of the National Assembly, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, today we are here to launch significant aspects of the work of the National Human Rights Commission that would enhance its efficacy and effectiveness in executing its functions under its Enabling Act.
As Saturday, UNDP resident representative underscored the important role the Commission plays in accelerating change and supporting human rights protection in the Gambia.
I would like to reiterate the fact that UNDP will continuously work closely with the National Human Rights Commission to align intention and exchange ideas.
Following the launch, the Commission held a day-long engagement with consultants and stakeholders to discuss the contents of the various reports that were launched. Established by an Act of Parliament in 2017, the National Human Rights Commission is the first ever commission mandated to promote and protect human rights in the Gambia. Ansumane Sonyasi for QTV News.
From that story by Ansumane Sonyasi, we will take a second break. And still to come, we still have more business news, international and sports news.
Hello Gambia, you are tuned into Q Radio 103.3 FM, the new voice of the Gambia.
Q Radio 103.3, the new voice of the Gambia.
This your man DJ Nix live here on Q Radio 103.3 at the new voice of the Gambia.
103.3 la for Montenegro chonin bukosa mbute. Pra.
Yeah, I'm from the GA right to the West Coast. I'ma show you where we stay, where the sun shines and the people smile all day. Red, white, blue, white, green, I'ma rep that always. Yeah, I'm from the GA. Yeah, I'm from the GA right to the West Coast. I'ma show you where we stay, where the sun shines and the people smile all day. Red, white, blue, white, green, I'ma rep that always, always. I'm repping for that red, white, blue, white, green. Yeah, I'm repping for that red, white, blue, white, green. Oh yeah, I'm repping for that red, white, blue, white, green. Yeah, I'm repping for that red, white, blue, white, green.
Gambia nice, take a pina hamne, yepa neka pena, oh no no. Gambia nice, all we know is peace and love in my motherland. Gambia nice, take a pina hamne, yepa neka pena, oh no.
Tune in to Q Radio 103.3 FM, the new voice of the Gambia.
Welcome back, and if you're just joining us, this is QTV News. Now to business news. The Monetary Policy Committee, NPC, of the Central Bank of the Gambia met on Thursday, May 27, 2021, to review the performance, risk and outlook of the domestic economy and the global economy and financial developments in the first quarter of 2021. Omar P. Jallo has the rest of that story.
The Governor of Central Bank of the Gambia, Buha Sedi, reveals that the global economic growth is forecast to pick up in 2021 amid uncertainties surrounding the COVID-19 pandemic. He said in April 2021, in the World Economic Outlook, the International Monetary Fund upwardly revised the global economic growth for 2021 by 0.5 percentage points to 6.0%. This robust growth outlook, he adds, reflects additional policy support, particularly in advanced economies, and the approval and effective rollout of vaccines across countries. However, the risks of these strong growth prospects remain high, particularly the uncertainties about the impact of the crisis and finding a 100% effective vaccine for the COVID-19 variant virus that has emerged in different countries.
The exchange rate based on end period mid-market averages indicated that the dollar experienced modest pressure against major trading currencies during the period under review.
On real sector developments and the external sector developments, Governor Sedi said, according to the Gambia Bureau of Statistics, the Gambia economy is estimated to have contracted by 0.2% in 2020, 6.0 percentage points lower than real growth in 2019. The preliminary balance of payment estimates indicated an improvement in the balance of payments during the period under review.
Revenue and grant total $3.6 billion, that is 3.6% of GDP in Q1 2021, declining by 21.8% from $4.6 billion or 4.7% of GDP in the same period a year earlier.
Governor Sedi said, amidst expansion in market turnover in the foreign exchange market, the dollar weakened significantly against key international traded currencies. Improved supply conditions of foreign currency by moderate access demand as the economy saw signs of recovery. Preliminary estimates of government physical operations for the first 3 months of 2021 point to a worsened fiscal position. Overall budget deficit, including grants in the first quarter of 2021, increased to $2.1 billion compared to a deficit of $1.3 billion in the corresponding period a year ago.
Consumer price inflation of food and non-alcoholic beverages accelerated by 1.5 percentage points to 8.5% in April 2021.
The banking sector remains well capitalized, highly profitable and liquid. On a yearly basis, total assets of the industry increased by 20.4% to $61.23 billion at the end of March 2021 from $50.85 billion in the same period a year ago and by $2.4 billion at the end of December 2020. The increase in domestic debt stock reflects mainly high fiscal expenditures resulting partly from bill's overall costs, which accounts for 57.5% of the domestic debt. The committee has decided to maintain the rate at 10%, maintain the required reserve at 13%, and maintain the interest rate on the standing deposit facility at 3.0% and the standing lending facility at 11.0%. Officials said they will continue to closely monitor the situation and take further necessary actions as and when the situation requires. The next Monetary Policy Committee meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, August 25, 2021. Reporting for QTV News, I am Omar P. Jallo.
Still on business news, Unique Group, one of Gambia's most diverse and innovative business corporations, celebrated its 21st anniversary. QTV's Jennifer Sonko had a chat with the group's chairman and see now reports.
The Unique Group is celebrating an outstanding reputation for exceptional and innovative service delivery over the past 21 years. The Unique Group operates in the Gambia, Liberia, Senegal, and the United States of America through its various subsidiaries across numerous business activities. Unique Solutions, Unique Energy, Unique Industry, Unique Global, and Unique Foundation. The group is celebrating its 21st anniversary through participation in the GCCI International Trade Fair. We had a chat with the group's chairman, Papa Yusuf Anjai.
Under Unique Solutions, we are focused on connectivity. We are focused on closed-circuit television. You can see our feed from the traffic lights with the project with the police, to the securing the trade fair grounds. You go to Unique Energy. We're electrifying Gambia through our mini-grid projects. We're creating renewable energy in homes and schools. You go to Unique Global, where we're working with farmers to export groundnuts, industries in a similar way. And of course, under solutions, our partnership with GAMPost, where we've just done a soft launch of the GAMPost card with Numherit and EcoBank, a prepaid debit card, the first of its type in the Gambia through GAMPost, showing that the post office is no longer an institution that just delivers mail, because there is no delivering of mail. They're going into digital services. So you can see we've come here with many diverse products and services.
The UNIC Group has the vision to be a recognized leader in the provision of world-class solutions in diverse areas of economic importance, supported by highly trained and motivated professionals, dedicated and customer satisfaction-driven staff. Chairman Jai took us through what more the company has to offer to Gambians after existing for 21 years.
I want to believe that 21 years is not 21 days. It's taking a long time to get to where we are. And I want to believe that the work is just starting now. I'm of the opinion that Gambian entrepreneurs, I always say that the best of Gambian brains work outside this country. So for us, we want to set the pace of taking Gambian businesses to the rest of the world. I want to believe that if the best of our brains can work in the biggest institutions, Gambian businesses and entrepreneurs can do the same.
The UNIC Group is part of the sponsors of this year's GCCI Trade Fair and has a long-standing history of fulfilling its social corporate responsibility through supporting in different sectors. Reporting for QTV News, I am Jenna Bosonko.
Now to international news. President Nana Akufo-Addo of Ghana and chairman of ECOWAS on Thursday opened the 2021 first ordinary session of the ECOWAS Parliament in Abuja, Nigeria. During the session, the Parliament will discuss matters of interest to the sub-region. Aliou Cisse is attending the conference and he now reports.
ECOWAS parliamentarians are in Abuja, the federal capital of Nigeria, the headquarters of the ECOWAS Parliament, for the 2021 first ordinary session between 27th May to 12th June. Also known as the Committee Parliament, it comprises National Assembly members representing the 15 National Assembly members in the sub-region. The Gambia's delegation to the Parliament is headed by Honorable Keba K. Barrow and comprises Honorable Tumanjai, Honorable Mohamed Magazi, Honorable Samba Jallo, and Honorable Matar Jeng. In his address as guest of honor, the President of Ghana, Nana Akufo-Addo, current chairman of the Authority of Heads and Government of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, said he was proud to witness the opening ceremony, described the Parliament as an important institution for the growth of the sub-region. As someone heavily involved in the management of the major concerns of the moment, the fight against terrorism and COVID-19, regional integration, democratic governance, and climate change, among others, President Addo's address delivered a strong solidarity message to regional elected representatives and centered on issues confronting the sub-region.
It is thus critical that you, parliamentarians, endeavor to undertake programs and activities that will help curb the scourge of terrorism, insurgents, banditry, and piracy. The community expects you to use your relations to help attain the desired results. The climate crisis is also wrecking lives and livelihoods and disproportionately affecting the poor and the most vulnerable in society. It is a challenge we must not only confront head-on, but from one which we must emerge as victorious.
Jean-Claude Cassibro, President of the ECOWAS Commission, presented a report on the state of the community, which provided the parliamentarians the opportunity to follow the implementation of the community programs. Bro informed the session that the ECOWAS Commission has embarked on an institutional reform process to improve performance and promote integration, targeting the socio-economic of the region. On the COVID-19, he welcomes the arrival of the vaccine as he reveals the Commission's plan to acquire adequate vaccines to the people. He assured the ECOWAS Commission's commitment to support the Parliament. Sidi Mohamed Tunis, Speaker of the ECOWAS Parliament, said the Parliament strongly condemned the seemingly unending political crisis in Mali, while renewing the Parliament's commitment to support efforts to restore peace and order in Mali. He also touched on the need for direct voting of MPs to the ECOWAS Parliament by a universal adult suffrage.
We have made many efforts in securing a peaceful and stable ECOWAS, and it is about time we take firm and decisive actions against forces that tend to reverse this trend. The ECOWAS Parliament stands ready to support all efforts aimed at putting Mali on the right trajectory of peace and democracy.
Justice Idiot Amwoka Asante, President ECOWAS Court of Justice, said the court plays a strategic role in the regional integration process. However, he was quick to ask that enforcement of his decision is one of major challenges, which if not addressed could affect the court's capacity to deliver. At the opening ceremony, new MPs to the ECOWAS Parliament and the first Deputy Speaker of the Parliament was sworn. It is hoped they will work in the interest of the Parliament. Also in attendance for the opening ceremony was the Vice President of Liberia, Jewel Shiani Howard Taylor. Several referrals of key interest to the community will be submitted for the opinion of the parliamentarians. This is a very important session for the ECOWAS Parliament because it avails the MPs the opportunity to better discuss issues affecting this sub-region, from security to sub-regional integration, trade, and even political crisis as we are currently seeing in Mali. So this session comes at a time when it is quite needed for this ECOWAS Parliament to discuss on the way forward as far as this sub-region is concerned. For QTV News from Abuja, Nigeria, I am Aliou Cisse.
And now to some sports news. In a match between two teams named after birds of prey, a goal in each half ensured Falcons and Redhawks shared the points in the Week 20 fixtures of the GFF Second Division. I watched the match at the Independence Stadium, and this is the report. Falcons let a first-half lead and a potential win slip from their grasp late in the game. Sankunsela equalized with a beautiful header in the 80th minute. The Serekunda boys took the lead in the 19th minute when Dauda Jao set up Fakeba Jame to nod in a powerful header. Falcons were fighting for a win to claim top spot, as leaders Samga FC drew 1-1 with Young Africans in Wednesday's other game. Red Hawks almost snatched a last-minute opportunity to avenge a previous defeat and grab all 3 points with a near-post miss. Falcons defeated Red Hawks 2-0 in the reverse fixture in the first half of the league. Lamin Sane, Falcons coach, told QTV the second half of the season is proving tougher with every game.
It's another disappointing draw, but we know that in the second round of any league is always difficult, knowing that for us we are in the promotion spots and some teams are right mid-table, but you can see the gap is not that wide, so you can see every match will come with its own tension and its own stress. So we know that coming into this match and also defeating them in the first round, they will come all out to avenge revenge on us, but we stood our ground. Despite we know that we have some momentarily we are not at our best, but that is very normal. You cannot be on top of a game for the whole 90 minutes or so, but we take a point and build on to the next one. That's all.
Red Hawks have become a much improved side in the second half of the season, with 3 draws and 2 wins. Coach Modu Aliou Jallo expressed satisfaction with his team's performance.
It was a good game. As I always say, we always come for the 3 points. If you cannot get the 3 points, you get the 1 point. And in the first round, they won us. So all our objective was we have to pay back. But unfortunately, it was a fair result. As you know, Hawks, as I told them, we need performance. If we perform 100%, we are going to win. But performance is a matter of must. That is our philosophy and motto. We have to perform.
The draw leaves Falcons tied on 40 points with Samga, who led the division on goal difference. Red Hawks are in 8th place. The highest scoring game from this round of matches was a 5-goal thriller, which saw Latrikunda United beat Team Rhino 3-2. The win dented Rhino's hopes of getting into the top 4 and edged them closer to their defeated opponents. Mamudu Gajaga, QTV News. Now, before we end this news bulletin, let's have a recap of our main news headlines. A businessman has told the TRRC how he had to bribe ex-President Jammeh for one of his projects and was later scammed by him. The National Youth Council on Wednesday began a 2-day migration summit to discuss the effects of irregular migration. The National Association of Gambian Nurses and Midwives have held a celebration for International Nurses and Midwives Day, which fell during Ramadan. In business news, the Monetary Policy Committee (MPC) of the Central Bank of the Gambia met to review the performance, risk and outlook of the domestic economy for the first quarter of 2021. Unique Group, one of Gambia's most diverse and innovative business corporations, is celebrating its 21st anniversary. In international news, the 2021 first ordinary session of the ECOWAS Parliament has opened in Abuja, Nigeria. In sports news, we had how the scramble for points is hotting up in the GFF Second Division. That's all we have for you in this Bulletin of the News. Thank you very much for watching, but don't forget to join us at 10 for another bulletin.